Hi everyone, my name is Melvin and I titled this talk Purpose as a Compass. So have you ever had to use a physical map? Not like your phone, and I feel like a lot of the people in this room have probably never had to actually touch a physical map. Oh, you can hear me now. The first time I actually had to use one was when I was on DMU, but besides that, I've always felt like I've never had to use a map. I've always felt like I know what I'm doing. So for years, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. That was my goal when I was in school. My parents didn't force me to. It was really on my own accord. It's what I was passionate about. So I had a map. I really sort of planned, okay, I did A-level chemistry, biology, and psychology. I studied for the medical UCAT exam. So I was very prepared. Even after medical school, I knew what I wanted to do and how and where I was going. So I've always been sort of a planner. But I was also passionate about making a difference in society. While I was at school, I was part of my local youth council. I was a youth police crime commissioner, and I was on my junior safeguarding board. So I was very passionate about making a difference in society. And it felt natural. That was so fun doing that during school, but sometimes it felt like I was trying to balance studying to get into medical school and sort of being involved with social action. So it's like being pulled east and west and between medicine and social action. So then COVID came, and I was in my final year of sixth form, and one day school just finishes after 15 years, just out of nowhere. School just done, no prom, no nothing. And my dad passed away during that year suddenly. So it was a hard time for me and my family. And my dad's passing really made me think, am I doing what I really want to do? Am I really living my life to the fullest? So I took a gap year and really grounded myself to really understand what I want to do with life. And I came across the philosophy of ikigai. If you can see that, I'll move out of the way. So ikigai is a philosophy that allows you to find your purpose. It dates back to 794 AD to an island in Japan called Okinawa, where it has the highest proportion of people who live over 100 years old. And it's a main principle of their culture, and it's sort of given the title as the key to happiness. And it has four main principles: what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. And you can see that the cross sections link them together. What you love and what you're good at is your passion. What you love and what the world needs is your mission. What the world needs and what you can be paid for is your vocation, and what you're good at and what you can be paid for is your profession. And I applied these four principles to my life and really sat down and thought, okay, what is my passion? So for years, I've been a drummer. I've toured across the USA and Europe, and I play at my church, and it's been something that I really do to sort of relieve myself from the stresses of school, work, whatever it was. So that was my passion, and I also love speaking to audiences like this and really sharing my profession. So I sat down and thought about my skills. At this point, medicine was out the door. Didn't want to do that anymore. So I thought, okay, what else have I learned over the years? I was sort of involved with enterprise stuff at my school, and with all the skills that I learned from getting involved in politics locally, I was like, you know what, let me make a career out of this and become an entrepreneur, and I'll figure that out what it would look like later on. My vocation. So during this time, I realized that for the past 6 years, I really enjoyed working and tackling the biggest socioeconomic challenges facing our society. And I was like, you know what, I can definitely make a career out of this, and now I have aspirations to get into politics. And my mission, I was sharing, learning, and creating, and influencing. I hate the term influencer. I feel like it's sort of a tarnished term. But I want to be an influencer, but an influencer of change. So my ikigai came down to really four things: politics, entrepreneurism, influencing / public speaking, and music. So it finally felt like my puzzle was complete. So fast forward now, I'm a second year economics and politics student here at DMU, and it was by far the best decision I made over medicine. I've continued my political work now on a national and international level. I'm currently running a national campaign called Not So Micro, tackling microaggressions in schools, so how we equip teachers with the necessary skills to be able to sort of tackle racial issues in schools. I've worked with the Diana Awards, UNICEF, the UN, the Commonwealth Games, and a lot more. So I'm building my political career. But the other thing was entrepreneurship. How am I going to tap into this? And that's the whole element of today, entrepreneurship. So I saw a competition on campus called Nottingham Ingenuity, and it was a chance for you to get funding for a startup. And I was like, you know what, I want to do this. But I had no business idea, so I was like, okay, how can we combine the concept of ikigai with business? And this is where I first heard about the term social entrepreneurism. It allows businesses to generate profits to change the world and use the hybrid of innovation, creativity, and the traditional business model to be able to change the world as we see it. An example of this is in Ghana. Dapper Chocolates found a gap in the cocoa market. They realized that there was no internationally recognized chocolate brand for their country, so they was like, okay, let's create one. And a portion of their sales went to creating sustainable chocolate factories, allowing opportunities for local farmers. So that's just one example of social entrepreneurism. I was like, you know what? This business model speaks to my values. So I wanted to start a business, but not any business, but a business with a purpose. So I used the philosophy of ikigai and the 4 principles: what I love, what I'm good at, what I can be paid for, and what the world needs. The structure of the social entrepreneurism business model, and what was the last thing? And I chose one of the goals from the UN Sustainability Development Goals. And that's where I formed my idea, Atlas Black, the first of its kind social media app for Black heritage students here in the UK. And yeah, I've been working on this idea for the past, I'd say, year now. And the whole concept of it is a digital guide for Black students to guide them while they're at university, tackling the issues that fundamentally Black students face that no other students really face. So that's the briefest explanation I can give. I can talk about it all day, but that's all I'm going to give you. And from the app, it's not just benefiting the Black student experience, but the wider Black community on an economic, social, and financial level. And this is the start to my entrepreneurial journey, and I want to create more businesses with that same core principle. Social entrepreneurs and enterprises have begun to bridge the gaps in the world and take on problems that can only be solved if we work together as one people. I've used the term purpose a lot during this talk, and it can mean many things to different people. Great philosophers such as Aristotle say that purpose is actively expressing virtue. Another philosopher such as Socrates says that purpose is both spiritual and personal. But to me, purpose is how can I contribute to the world and still be happy? We all have our own definitions, but it's a fundamental term of how we live our lives. The power of purpose has showed me how it can be applied to all aspects of life and society, and given me an optimistic mindset to how I can be the change that I want to see. Purpose should be ingrained into everything that we do. And when we combine it with the 4 principles of ikigai, when coming up with businesses and solutions, it won't be profits versus purpose. It'll be 2 things that can coexist as one. So as entrepreneurs, know your purpose, use the principles of ikigai to create businesses with a purpose, and use your compass to guide you. Thank you.